Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. And after I received this confession, I then spoke with our dear brother, and he gave me more details to the story. So the narration of his story goes on like this. Hello brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I am a man who is from Zim, and all that I want to say is that if you see a woman that is married, no matter how hard that woman tries to seduce you, just try to avoid her. Just tell yourself that she is not your wife, no matter how pretty or beautiful she might look to you, but at the end of the day, she does not belong to you because she belongs to her own husband. My brother, what happened to me is that when I came here to South Africa, I was like doing my piece jobs here and there. I would get someone who would hire me so that I can do some renovations at their place. It then happened that I spoke with this other man. This man, he was a South African man, and he was a police officer. This man then told me that he wanted me to do some renovations at his place, and that was fine with me. After we had arranged and after we had an agreement as to how much we were going to be giving each other after I would have done the renovations at his house, I was happy with the deal. Then I started going to work at his place, just doing my piece jobs. Whilst I was working at his place, what would happen is that the wife was always home alone, and she was with the maid that used to come and assist her. So most of the times during the afternoon, it was only me and that police officer's wife. It will be the only two of us. So one day, whilst I was doing my piece job, I then saw, like at the corner of my eye, I then saw that police officer's wife, she was standing in her living room. Whilst she was standing like that, she had opened up her curtain just a little bit so that she can see, so that she can look at me and to see what I was doing. So I thought that maybe she was not happy with the work that I was doing. I continued working. I grew tired of her looking at me like that, and I said to myself, I am not a gardener, I am not a worker, I am only here to do my piece job. So why is she acting like she is now my boss? I then started walking towards that window where I had seen her staring at me with the corner of my eye, and when I started walking towards her, she then closed the window. But I walked so fast, by the time that she was trying to pretend like she was not looking at me, I was already standing at the window. I then asked her if there was anything that was wrong with the work that I was doing, the renovations that I was doing at their house. Then when I was speaking with her in a very loud voice, she then put her finger on her mouth and she said, "Shh, please do not scream out loud, because this thing, my maid is not supposed to know that I have been looking at you through the window." As a man, Brother Nashi, the moment that she showed me that she wanted us to keep this thing that had happened between us as a secret, I knew that there was a bigger story to her looking at me. I then said to her, is it possible that you and we can talk about this issue on WhatsApp? And on WhatsApp, your maid is never going to find out what had happened between me and you. I was already thinking of dating this woman. She then said that, look, I cannot date you because if we start talking on WhatsApp, my husband, he is going to find out that you and we are talking together, because she was saying that their phones are linked together. If she takes a picture, then the picture will appear on her husband's phone. I said, I have another phone. At that time, I had 2 phones and a lot of WhatsApp accounts. So I gave her the other phone and I said, please take this phone so that we can talk throughout the day and see how we can come to a resolution. And at the end of the day, me and her, we started dating same, and we were always sleeping with each other. There was this other time when her husband had gone out to work. So when her husband had gone out to work, me and her, we made a plan that we were supposed to make love like we had never made love in our lives. So I came to her place and we locked ourselves together. After I had slept with her, Brother Nashi, at that hole whereby a man pees, where the urine comes out of your manhood, at that hole, I then started feeling like there was itchiness there. So I thought that since me and this police officer's wife, we had done our love making in a rough way, so I thought that maybe those were the after effects of us having rough intercourse. I then relaxed, but Brother Nashi, throughout the night, I was just feeling that itchiness. The following morning, I then returned back to my place, and when I returned back to my place, I saw that still this STI, it was still affecting me. And another thing that was now happening to me, there was drop that was coming out of my manhood. This drop, it was not like your normal drop. It was that drop whereby it is mixed with blood. This shocked me a lot because I had never seen something like this. So what I did is that I then called one of my friends whom I knew to be very experienced with these diseases. That guy, I then told him that he was supposed to buy stameta for me so that I can drink the stameta and to get rid of this drop that was affecting me. The guy, by the time that he came, Brother Nashi, I was really feeling sick, and at the same time, I could not even visit a clinic because I didn't have any money at all. The guy gave me the stameta and I started drinking and drinking, but still, Brother Nashi, that itchiness kept on coming back, and there were some sort of like some pimples that were appearing on my manhood. These pimples would only appear for a very short period of time, and they would be so itchy, so much that it was really painful. And my brother, when I saw that this is what was happening to me, since my wife, she was not here in South Africa, she was back home in Zim, I then thought of an idea, because there were people that had told me that this thing that was happening to me, it was not a normal STI, but that police officer, he had gone and he had done some locking mechanism on his wife, so that if his wife sleeps around, then she will infect that partner that she will be sleeping around with that type of an STI that no medical doctor can cure. This can only be cured by another traditional healer. When I heard all of these stories, I thought of a plan, and what came to my mind is one of my uncles, who is my mother's brother, but he was staying in another village, not in the village where they were born. So I then traveled back home, and I never informed my wife that I was coming back to Zim, because I was scared that if I tell her that I will be coming back to Zim, she would want to know what were my plans like. So I went straight to the village where my uncle was working, and when I went there, Brother Nashi, lucky enough, my uncle then told me that this thing that had been done to me, there were some African charms that were used on that woman that I had slept with, and if I was not going to come earlier on, then I was going to die because of those African charms that had been used on that woman that I was sleeping with. My uncle then prepared some soft porridge for me. After my uncle had prepared some soft porridge for me, Brother Nashi, that porridge that he had prepared for me, it just came out through diarrhea. It was not even properly digested. It just came out like that. When I was still in South Africa, another thing that started happening, when I saw all of those words that were coming out of my manhood, I could not even go to toilet, like to pee. That hole that is there on our manhood as men, that hole, it had totally collapsed and it had been closed. So there was no way I was able to urinate. And what would happen is that whenever I would feel that I want to urinate, then I would see that my stomach will keep on getting bigger and bigger. The only way that I was able to urinate was through my mouth. I would vomit, and when I would be vomiting, Brother Nashi, you would see that this is not food that I had eaten earlier on, but it was urine. The urine would come out of my mouth. But my uncle, lucky enough, he then fixed me after he had given me those herbs that he prepared for me in form of porridge. Then my life returned back to normal. This story, Brother Nashi, even up until today, as for my wife, she does not know anything about it, and I do not want my wife to know anything about it, because I am afraid that if she gets to know that this is what happened to me, maybe she will end up divorcing me. All that I want to say, Brother Nash, is that to all the men that are out there that are dating other men's wife, just be careful, because you do not know, maybe one day that man, if he finds out that you are cheating on, if he finds out that you are dating his wife, you do not know what kind of plans he is going to make. In my own case, I suffered a lot, Brother Nashi, because of dating another man's wife. Dear listeners, right there was a narration of a conversation and that message that he sent me. Please let us talk about this issue in the comment section. Just imagine when you go to the toilet to pee, instead of using your private parts, then you end up using your mouth. Strange things do happen in this world.